Hi class, today we are doing math page 53 and 54. Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for men. And I think about for you guys, as you're doing your schoolwork, you do the best that you can and do it for the Lord, doing all the work that you can, the best that you can, working hard on it, trying to do well in everything, doing your best job, making the Lord pleased that He made you, that He's given you the gifts that you're able to do, that you're able to write with your pencil, that you're able to read with your eyes, and that you're able to use your brain, and that you're growing, and you're becoming smarter and smarter each day. Today I'm going to teach you how to be a teacher, specifically with how to grade papers, and that's why I have this up on the screen. What we have here is it shows it's a grading scale here, and it shows us the different percentages and what they equal. So if you get 100% on something, that means you miss nothing. That is an A+. That could also be a 99 or 100. Sometimes if you miss a little bit, you might still get an A+. And then the second one we have is a A. An A would be if you get a 92 to a 98% on a paper. If you get a 91 to 92%, that would be an A-. Then your next level of grades would be a B+, which would be an 88 to 89%. And then a B, which would be an 82 to 87%. Then a B-, which would be an 80 to 81%. Then a C+, would be 78 to 79%. A C would be anywhere in between 72 and 77%. A C- would be 70 to 71%. A D+ would be 68 to 69%. A D would be 62 to 67%. A D- would be 60 to 61%. And then an F would be 59%, or anything lower than that would be an F. And so I'm going to show you how it works when we average the grades, how I figure out your guys' grades using what we have here, and then along with the papers that you give me. So let's say we had 5 assignments. We had 5 different assignments so far in a certain subject. And I'm simplifying this. Usually we have way more than 5, but 5 just to show you how I grade the papers and how today's math lesson of averaging, how it works. So let's say when you first started, maybe in the first week of school, you had an assignment, and let's say you got a 76%. Alright, so if you got a 76%, and we look at the grades here, a 76%, that would be a C. So I put a C on this paper, 76% C. And then let's say the next paper you got a little better, you got an 88%. And then we're going to look again at what the grade would be for that. 88% would be a B+. And then let's say that on your third assignment, you had a homework assignment and you didn't do it one night. And so you didn't even turn it in, you get a 0 on it. I'm going to put 0%. Now remember, as the grades tell us, anything that is 59 or lower, that's an F. Anything that's 59 or lower is an F. Okay, so this one's an F. And let's say you try to make up for it. In the next two assignments, you get really good grades. We'll say you get a 95% here. 95%, that would give you an A. And then let's say our last assignment that we had, let's say you got a 90%. And that would be, and I'll show you, that would be an A minus, 90%. I don't have it here, I have 91 to 92. That should say, and actually I have that wrong, that should say 90 to 91. I put in the wrong thing there. So, now to average the grades, this is how I figure out what your grades will be. I add them up. So the first one we had was a 76, and then an 88, and then a 0, then a 95, and then a 90. And I'm going to add them up right now. 6 plus 8, that would give us 14, plus 0, that would still be 14, plus 5 would give us 19, plus 0, we got 19. So I put a 9 here and I carry a 1. 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 8 more is 16, plus 9 more would be 25, plus 9 more would be 34. Okay, so we have a big number here, 349. To figure out what the grade is, I take the 349 and I divide it by how many numbers we had over here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 numbers. So I divide this number by 5. 5 doesn't go into 3, but it does go into 34. 5 times 6 is 30. I'm going to subtract. We get 4. Bring down the 9. 5 goes into 49 9 times. 5 times 9 is 45. Subtract, you get 4. You get a remainder 4. So your grade is about 69%. And when we look back here, that would mean you'd have a D+. Now I'm going to show you what would happen if we change just one of the grades here. See this F that we got? And I want to show you guys what a big deal it is when you miss an assignment. You might think, oh, it's only one assignment, it's not a big deal. But let's pretend like instead of that F, let's say maybe you still got a bad grade on it. And instead of an F, let's change it instead of a 0, let's say you didn't do well on it, but at least you tried. And instead of that F, I'm going to say you got a, let's say, how about a 58%. So that's still an F. Maybe you didn't do well on it, but at least you tried. At least you turned it in. Now we're going to average it. So I got to erase everything we have here. And we're going to start all over, and we're going to average the numbers. And I guess all I really need to do is erase that 0, because that's the only one we changed. And I'm going to show you how important it is that you don't miss any assignments, because it will change the grade. Remember, last we knew if this was a real person, they got a D+. And now we're going to see what their grade would be here. And so now instead of a 0 right there, we're going to make it a 58, because that would be a 58 right there. So we're going to put 58 here. And I started to erase. This was supposed to be 90, the bottom page. Okay, we're going to add these up now. 6 plus 8, 14, plus 8 more, 22, plus 5, 27. Two plus 7 would be 19, plus 8 more would be 27, plus 5 would be 32, plus 9 would be 41, plus 9 more would be 50. I'm going to double check that. 2 plus 7 would be 9, plus 8 would be 17, plus 5 would be 22, plus 9 would be 31, plus 9 more would be 40. I'm glad I double checked that. So instead of 50 here, it's going to be 40. Okay, and so now I take the 407, and again I divide it by 5 because we have 5 different assignments over here. And so I divide it by 5. 5 goes into 40 8 times. 5 times 8 is 40. Subtract 0, bring down the 7. 5 goes into 7 one time. 5 times 1 is 5. Subtract, you get remainder 2. And really what you're going to get is about 81%. All because that assignment down there, you still got an F on it, but at least you tried on it. And it's showing how important it is that we do try in every assignment we have. Let's go ahead and look at our page that we have today to work on. Averaging numbers. And so to average this, just like we did earlier, we're going to add up our numbers we have here. We have 5 numbers right here, and we need to add them up. So I'm just going to draw a little line there and a plus sign. 7 plus 3 is 10. Plus 7 more would be 17. Plus 9 more would be 26. Plus 4 more would be 30. Put a 0 there, carry my 3. 3 plus 4 would be 7. Plus 2 would be 9. Plus 3 would be 12. Plus 2 would be 14. Plus 2 would be 16. So now we have 160. 160. We're going to divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to put a 5 here because there were 5 numbers. 5 doesn't go into 1, but it does go into 16. 3 times. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract, we get 1. Bring down the 0. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract, we get 0. And so our answer is 32. And it didn't tell us to check. So we can go ahead and go on. It just says to average the numbers, 32. Okay, B. First thing we need to do is add up the numbers. 9 plus 7 would be 16. Plus 8 more would be 24. Plus 3 more would be 27. Plus 1 more, 28. Plus 2 more would be 30. Okay, 3 plus 6 would be 9. Plus 6 more would be 15. Plus 6 more would be 21. Plus 6 more would be 27. Plus 6 more would be 33. And plus 6 more would be 39. So now we take our 390 and we divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. I erased it here. 390 divided by our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So since there's 6 numbers, we're going to divide this by 6. 6 does not go into 3, but it does go into 39 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. Subtract. You get 3, you bring down the 0. 6 goes into 30 5 times. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract, you get 0. So our answer there is 65. Okay, C. Got to add up our numbers. 9 plus 0 is 9, plus 6 is 15, plus 3 is 18. Nine plus 1 is 10, plus 9 more is 19, plus 9 more is 28. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So we take the number that we got, 388, divide it by, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers, so we divide it by 4. 4 doesn't go into 3, but it does go into 38. 4 times 9 is 36. Subtract and you get 2. Bring down the 8. 4 goes into 28 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. So our answer is 97. Go ahead and do the rest on your own. You can do it. You guys are so smart. I believe in you. You guys are wonderful.